The chief international economist at ING Financial Markets, Robert Carnell, is with us now. He is a Bloomberg best for his accurate employment forecast, and he is joining us from London. Robert, thanks so much for joining us this morning. You believe unemployment could go, not today, but before the end of the year, to 10%. Why is that? Why do you see U.S. labor market getting worse before it gets better?
Well, I think Rubini in your earlier commentary was right. I mean, the job creation in the U.S. economy over the rest of the year, the second half of this year, is going to be extremely mediocre. It's just not strong enough at this stage and unlikely to be strong enough over the next 6 months to generate the sorts of jobs needed to actually get the unemployment rate down. You do need some fairly substantial positive job creation just in order to keep the unemployment rate from ticking slowly higher. And I don't think we've got that. I don't think we're going to get that, and consequently the unemployment rate as a result has to keep moving ever so slightly perhaps, but steadily higher, and that gets us to 10% before too long.
Robert, I want to just play devil's advocate. Why not, right? Early on this Friday morning, our economics editor Michael McKee was with us earlier, and he pointed out some data from Challenger Gray & Christmas. It's an outplacement firm, and they are actually showing that job creation and job placement is stronger coming out of this current recession than it was the last time around. Is that any measure of hope that we can hang on to?
Well, there are always measures of hope. The trouble is with the labour market data, there are any number of things that you can look at which give you very conflicting pictures. You could look at the ISM manufacturing series yesterday, which was reasonably strong. You could look at the ADP, which would give you completely the opposite picture. And the trouble for economists is having to pick and choose between these wildly diverging series for the labour market and saying, well, I think it's going to go this way. Now, for me, one of the things that gives me cause for considerable concern is the duration of joblessness, the number of long-term unemployed. And these are people who I just don't think you get quickly back into employment, even if growth is going to pick up, which I don't think it is very much.
So, Robert, then can you make the argument that the problems with the U.S. labor market are structural versus cyclical?
Yeah, easily. I mean, there's a bit of both in there. Obviously, it would help if GDP were to pick up and growth were to accelerate and firms were to invest more and all that sort of stuff. But I don't think it's going to get the unemployment rate down to 4 or 5% over the next couple of years. It will probably stay in the high single-digit area, let's say 7 to 8%, even in a sort of optimistic growth scenario. There is a big structural element here. It's very difficult to get rid of. You know, here in Europe, we've a lot of experience of this, and we've also got a lot of experience of knowing just how ineffective policy is. Cutting interest rates, quantitative easing, fiscal measures, they're not that useful in getting long-term unemployed back into work.
Robert, we have about a minute left. I mean, what's the best thing that the Fed could do since you brought policy into the mix?
Well, I think it was interesting listening to Ben Bernanke at Jackson Hole. He was outlining a number of the policy measures they have at their disposal, including quantitative easing and changing the interest on excess reserves, all those sorts of things. What was kind of interesting about it is he seemed to be suggesting that while they would do everything they had, or everything necessary to prevent a double-dip recession, that the tools they had really weren't going to be terribly effective. It was almost like he was giving a veiled plea saying, look, help, someone else needs to come in and help us out here. We'll do what we can, but we can't prevent double dip if that's where we're going. We need some help from the administration. We need Congress to come and pass some new stimulus measures. And again, you know, big question marks over whether there's any political will or possibility of getting extra stimulus into this economy right now.
Okay, Bernanke pleading for help, according to Rob Carnell. Thank you very much. Thanks for the time. Bloomberg best, Rob Carnell joining us there from London, from ING Financial Markets.